prostrate, I can actually prostrate. Please come forward. Thank you. So we're going to the last speaker for today, and our moderator is actually standing by. And the last speaker for today is no other person than Mr. Tunji Olasende, the founder and director of Gates and Carter. Please, let's give him a round of applause.
Mr. Tunji, Gates and Carter. How did you come up with that name? Wow. So you can see that even in Sapa, great things can happen.
Yes.
Yes. So
with nothing to my name than maybe my certificates and co. You know, I mean, the name came. And here we are today.
They say that the idle mind is the devil's workshop, but I don't think that's true when it comes to entrepreneurship. I think when you're idle, you get to use your mind very well, because you don't want to be idle when you're an entrepreneur. I think it's fair to say that. So even in the darkest of times, I think that the light can still shine if you know where to look. So fantastic. So can you give us a breakdown of this, your business? Like how long have you been in it? Like who are you really, sir?
All right, so my name is Tunji Olasende. My background actually before coming into the industry was in brand and strategy communication strategy. So I was the guy that people go to when they need to build their small business into a brand, you know, or maybe when they need to build their brand into a movement, you know. And then I worked, I did that for a few years and helped a couple of real estate businesses, real estate brand, help them go pretty much. And then before coming in, let me talk more about Gates and Carter. I think that would be more interesting. I really don't like to talk about myself. I'm just me. You know, I'm just me. I'm the guy who likes to provide solutions, help people solve very naughty problems, and I think I understand how to build brands, build small business into brands, pretty much. So Gates and Carter, what we do there is we build eco-smart homes, or let's say we build smart homes within eco-friendly communities. So we build, I won't say we build affordable homes, because to say people build affordable homes these days, I don't even know how they do it. But we build smart homes, very quality, beautiful smart homes. We love to, and then we believe so much at Gates and Carter that smart shouldn't be something that is, should be, otherwise it should be for people living in Ikoyi and living in VI only. I mean, Nigerians should be able to afford, should be able to access, should be able to use smart homes pretty much. So we are the people who are building those smart homes. So we have some estates. So we have, at the moment, I think we have over 10 estates, you know, around the state. Some are landed estate, site and service spaces, and then some are building projects that we have, Shongotedo, Lekki, and most recently Kari Creek, and a couple of other places. So we build smart homes, pretty much.
So if you don't mind me asking, when you say smart homes, the first thing that comes into my head is the same thing that you know, I've tried to preach into the minds of everyone, attention to detail and, you know, things that give value into those homes, beyond just cement and a bunch of squares, and you know how they do the normal layout of old generation houses. Back in the day, where it's only one square connected to another square, connected to another square, and then they put one triangle roof, and then they'll put one ridiculous price on it, and then call it luxury, you know. And for me, I look at that and I see a lot of dollars involved in the process, a lot of cost involved in that process. How has the inflation affected your ability to be smart?
As many of the speakers have explained, inflation has affected everybody. You know, it's more like inflation is beginning to feel like breakfast now. Everybody must be saved. You know. So, but what we do, I think I will just maybe one thing when some of the speakers didn't touch on will be consumer education. You know, now what we've done is from the outset of whatever project that we are embarking on, we try as much as possible to at least educate the consumers, our customers, people who will buy in the future, people who have bought from us in the past. And then we are beginning to encourage other developers as well, like ourselves, to come together to put more funds behind educating the consumer. Because a lot of people are, there's still that disconnect, you know, there's still that information gap. And sometimes when the consumer is not well educated, there won't be a way for us to eradicate expectations that are not sensible, you know. So because some people still feel, so what, dollar increased, so what, so what do we do about it? But we've, say for example, at times we build project, we develop project, and sometimes we sell off plan, you know. Like we have a project in Shongotedo called, what's the name? Terrace of Qatar. I think there at the moment we are doing, I think we are doing 30-something units of terraces, 2 and 3 bedrooms, you know. And then at times you get out and you say, okay, you know, client wants to buy and they are paying and they are buying and they are paying off plan. Probably they are coming, maybe they are entering the project with maybe 10, 15 million, and you already told them we are going to sell at X amount, say maybe 50 or 60 million naira. Sometimes it's always very hard to go back to those same set of clients and tell them that, now we can't sell at that amount again. It's now going to be, instead of 50, 55 million. But if those same consumers have been well educated, maybe through the help of some of the professionals that have come before myself, well educated before now, pretty much just taking through the process, explain to them how these things can affect, explain to them how we are not the ones doing it to them. Because sometimes consumers just feel, you people are just the one increasing the price of the property. I thought I was going to be paying this amount. So I think maybe it will save some of us the stress, you know. I think the gentleman that came also earlier, the quantity survey also mentioned procurement. I think it's procurement management, Abi? Right. Is it procurement management? Yes. Because we do a lot of that. Okay, no, not procurement. Okay, you mentioned, but what I was trying to point out is procurement methodology. So we do a lot of that. Sometimes we ask ourselves, after looking at BOQ, bringing all our own professionals to the table, our QS persons, structural engineers, civil engineers, bring them to the table, have meetings with them. We ask them, with the current rate of, you know, the fluctuation, the exchange rate and all of that, what should we procure first? What are the set of things we should buy first that can save us the stress, that can save us the problems, you know? Sometimes, you know, you look at it and say, okay, I think cement or iron rod, you know? You say what? And granite, you know, I mean, yeah, so you look at it and you say, we just look at it as it comes. What are the things? So it's pretty much part of our own procurement methodology. And we ask ourselves the questions. Because there are certain things that will not really go, the prices will, but it won't be as high as some other product or some other construction material. So we go for the ones that we know we need to get first, that if there's an issue with dollar, if there's an issue with exchange rate, you hit those things first. So we go for those ones first, we buy and keep them. Another thing I think my uncle touched upon, Mr. Seidu touched upon, is is I think we don't think very deep about innovation. You know, when we mention innovation, it doesn't sound like all that we can just play with. It sounds sweet to the tongue, the innovation, you know. But I think if we can begin to pay more attention to having discussions around innovation, I think a lot of things can start to change. You know, we need to start learning to have homegrown solutions to homegrown problems. You know, I noticed that a lot of times, most of the methodologies, most of the designs, most of the standard operating procedures we use are things we learned from abroad. Where are the Nigerian, African homegrown solutions that we can use to cope some of these things? We have a couple of materials. See, I like to tell people something. God will not put you in a space or in a place and then there will be materials for you to survive.
Absolutely.
I believe so. You know, there are ways that I know that there are ways, or I believe that there are ways that we can use innovation to solve a lot of these problems that we don't need to maybe import X or import Y or pay top dollar to bring in Y or to bring in X in. That we can also tie back also to consumer education that I mentioned earlier. Some customers, maybe because of let me say buyer behavior, consumer behavior, and then the way our own mentality in Nigeria. Okay, you want
white labeling.
Huh?
White labeling.
Yeah, and also because I think culture also has a part to play. You know, people don't want to live in houses that sound like this. You know, so that we can also tie that also back to consumer education. That if people in the industry come together and we begin to say, for example, we begin to educate people about why living in a house that sounds like this does not really make you less of a rich man. You know, and then I said culture because some people have been living in a house that sounds like this from maybe young, from a tender age, and then what they associate with this is poverty. So when they hear it that sounds like this, you know, some people came from Ajegule, some people came from very tough places, some people came from wherever. I came from a very tough place to get here to myself. So there are certain things that are already attached to my psyche that when I see them, it sounds or feel like poverty to me. So maybe when we begin to maybe educate our people and begin to help them rewire their mind, they begin to see that there are some materials that we can use here that can drastically reduce the cost of building and does not connote poverty, and then they are good. And then that way we can also reduce, you know, to an extent reduce and find a way to manage things more.
I absolutely agree with you, and I'm going to give you a very interesting question for you to look into for the sake of the people listening here. It is not news that construction and the real estate sector do not have the benefit of bank rates, CBN rates like other industries may have. So for example, agriculture might be able to access a certain level of forex that normal construction companies may not have access to. And seeing that, yes, you have identified the problem, you know the solution is, okay, if we can create more value in Nigeria in terms of what we make ourselves, you know, making our own blocks, making our cements, making our structures, making our own equipment that we use to furnish the interiors of the house, you know, making things like our own beams, you know, that we utilize for the purpose of creating a solid structure that can withstand the test of time or can, you know, withstand climatic situations, weather conditions, you know, the type of rain in certain parts of Nigeria, because all those things actually matter. Building a house in front of the seaside is different from building a house in central Nigeria because the salt corrosion level within the seaside will be far greater than the corrosion level in the mainland, you know, and all these things. So with all these things in mind then, I would then throw it back. How do you then source your dollar to solve your problem when you cannot solve your problem in a grand scheme of things?
How do I source?
How do you source your dollars to solve your problems?
I mean, I really don't use, I use Naira.
You use Naira?
Mm-hmm. Because you can't even get the dollar to buy whatever it is. I pretty much procure whatever it is that we use in the local market. So wow. I don't have, yes. So I don't have to deal with, you know. I know that sometimes it can spike the cost of whatever it is that we are building, but just so that we can in a way eliminate ourselves from, you know, the problems around. But if I will find a way to answer the question you asked is, I think communications and conversations with everybody in that value chain. Because I notice now that we have a lot of, I mentioned earlier, I said there's gap. There's that gap. We are not talking to
each other.
We're not talking to each other. Real estate is a huge, long value chain. But most of the things you hear is you're hearing the developer, you're hearing quantity surveyor. Many people don't even know what the quantity surveyor does. The one they hear the most of is the land surveyor. And then we have even down to I won't say down to, okay, even up to facility managers, even cleaning companies. Everybody on the value chain needs to come together, and we need to start having conversations that can really help us solve our problems. I think when we begin to do that, I think we can begin to come up, because truly, I don't have all of the solutions to some of the problems. Like I said, we try as much as possible to stay away from things that will slow our growth. Yes, I would rather let an average, and then apologies to my Igbo brothers, an average Igbo man who imports whatever he needs to import, and then I interface with him to get whatever it is I need to get, so that I don't have to worry my head about getting the dollar. I know that in a way that will impact, of course, the cost of whatever it is that we are constructing, but at least it just frees me of that problem, of that burden. So, as I said earlier, I think we need to start having real, hard conversation. We need to really sit down and begin to have real conversation, because the solution we are looking for is here. But the fact that everybody is, sometimes it's even very hard to find people who are willing to collaborate, even in our own space. Where we are on the value chain as developers, sometimes it's very hard to find people who are willing to collaborate with. No,
you're good. You're good. Fantastic.
To find people who are willing to collaborate with other developers, because people want to keep profits themselves, people want to be in front, people want to be number one, people want to be whatever it is that they want to be. So it's even hard to get people to come together, rally together, and have real conversations that can bring real solutions. So I think by the time when we start to break that gap, break that barrier, and come to the table, everybody on the value chain needs to come to the table, so that we can speak with one voice, probably to policymakers, probably to the government, and then probably we can even find solutions that can maybe help us go around some of these policies, or even help us go around some certain government policies.
So would it be fair to then say in conclusion that if a platform or some form of an institute, who has watched Avengers here? Yeah, has anybody watched Avengers? The Avengers? Okay, yeah, so we have a few people that have watched Avengers. One thing you notice, Spider-Man is different from Batman, or from Iron Man. Yeah, but when they all have a common goal, and that's to fight a bad guy, they all bring all their skills and their talents together for the purpose of defeating that potential enemy of some sort, the threat to the world, as they would call it. So with that understanding, if I can bring it into real life and our economy, it's fair for me to say that if there was something that could assemble everybody together under a trusted body that would allow that communication to be seamless and transparent. So for example, if I am going to be building a mega structure, there are certain things that the government would require to reach a quality control level. To at least they know that these people have gone through quality control and they are free to run this project. And the government can also now see that the quantity surveyors are there, the engineers are there, the consultants are there. Everybody within the value chain, there is somebody representing the integrity of that project. And if that can be done, and then the receiving end, which is the person that's creating the project, can now choose whom within that value chain they would rather work with, because obviously preferences will be there, right? I believe that that is something that would ease the process of development and reduce a lot of cost, because you won't have to deal with nepotism, you won't have to deal with tribalisms, you won't have to deal with I got here first, you won't have to deal with it's my father's land, and all the other things that cause things to be the way they are today.
You're right. Another thing that I mean, to add to what you said, is I think it's time for government to be more sincere, smart people. I've had conversation with a couple of them, interfaced with a couple of them. Yeah, these guys are smart. The people there. But sometimes they just don't want to straighten, they just want to straighten things, because once that is done, whatever it is that people are getting, suddenly disappears.
Yes.
Because some solutions are even pretty basic solutions that people can bring to the table. But some people just get in the way of, that's that. Another thing is recognizing that people in this space are also, what they are doing is also there to help and ease governance.
Exactly.
I've never seen, don't get me wrong, because I know that some of you will watch. I don't want to say something that, but what I'm trying to say is that the government, any serious government should know that if we have a housing deficit that is shooting above 20 million, any serious government should know that, should recognize that an industry like this should be heavily, heavily supported. It's just common sense. Sometimes to just say this thing is somehow. We should not even be the one going to the government to say, oh, we need to get this. People need homes. People need houses. And I can tell you the numbers of homes developers, independent private developers are built in the last 10 years. I don't think any state government has done that. It's there. The data is there to see. So why won't any right-thinking government want to support an industry like that? But we are getting zero support on the government. The only thing the government does is find ways to, sorry, these cameras are on. Pretty much. So I'm sure we all understand what I'm trying to say. But I think the government...
it's the truth. I
just feel that...
it choke.
My brother, this
Let's
is...
be real.
I'm going to be saying, the thing is that, you can be real, but there's a level that's... Yeah, okay, I think you want to say, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chief Dr. Fruitful Mekwenye, the CEO ARL Fruitful Investment Limited, the CEO of Go Nigeria Limited. My business is purely Igbo style. Buy the goods, repackage it, go to the market, sell it, have your profit. I'm not a estate developer. I'm not a surveyor. I'm not even in this category of people that are here, some of the people that are here. But I have to speak from the poor man's, layman's aspect. And I found out that since independence, the problem we've had, or we're having, is that we concentrate more on the big men, When you say big men, we hardly consider the poor man. And it has gone like that over the years. Now, if you look around everywhere in Nigeria today, you will see people living in thatch roofs, only zinc houses. You see them living in slum, even in Lekki here, and I go to Jakonde and some areas. And I'm not asking, we are begging the government to support developers, estate developers. Is it to continue to build big estate for the big people, or to come down to the level where you can build a room self-con and spread it all over for the poor people to be able to afford or own? So sometimes I see no reason why you take all the lands everywhere in the whole of Nigeria and you are building for the big men. What about the poor men? And except we consider these little things, building home for the poor, we are going nowhere with all the big houses we are building. Because a time will come, those people you neglected to give home becomes the problem, that you don't even live in your big homes anymore. So if we have been able to consider these things for so many years, by now Nigeria will have improved. The standard of life for any common man in the street will have been improved. Today I have 70 workers. They are working. I continue to create more. And I go down to the poor people to bring them, come and work. 50,000, 70,000, 80,000 as the case may be. And I'm putting them to work. And they are working. So let us be able to have the mind of coming down below. Bend down below and let us solve our problem from the roots. We are building skyscrapers everywhere. For who to, you go to many of these estates, they are vacant. They are vacant. No occupier for a very long time. No occupier for a very long time. And we have the downtrodden living in thatched homes, no home for them, and they are there very poor. And we continue to look at them because our target is to be rich. Why can't we sacrifice? I don't understand what you mean by riches. No, I don't understand. When people are poor, you are saying you are rich. I don't understand. I don't understand. This is a life we are going to live once, and this is a path you are going to pass once in a lifetime. What are you doing? What is your mindset? As a wealthy man, as a rich man, how are you contributing to the society? Is it by building all these skyscrapers? I don't think so. We'll leave it once. Let us solve the problem of the downtrodden, the poor. If we're able to solve their problems, we have already solved our problems. But if we leave them like that, you close your door, your glass door, they will break it one day to get you out of that car. And it's time we start thinking this way.
Thank you so much, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Then, again, this is a general question for our estate developers. The general question is, now, you go online, you do marketing, you spread everywhere, buy land, 1 million, pay 1 year, pay 2 years, you are everywhere. Then the people will now start paying. Only for them 2 years you have not even allocated land. 3 years you have not allocated land. In some cases you now hear that the land is in court. Please save us. Please save, let us be realistic for once.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. And with this bombshell, I think I should have dropped the mic.
All right.
Because that's a wake-up call. And to show you how important that wake-up call is, 90% of our economy, or at least 85 to 90%, is still under that low category of wealth. They don't earn up to 60,000 naira in a month. That's a lot of people that need help. That's a lot of people. And if what he's saying is taking care of the masses, right, is to the benefit of the society, but it's also to the benefit of the rich as well. Because if you look at it, if there are 250 million people in Nigeria today, and you can create a house of 500,000 naira for 250 million people, how much did the rich just make? They have made more than the GDP. So I think that maybe that angle is very valid. There are a lot of people looking the wrong way. And maybe they need to start. And I'm sure the quantity surveyors would enjoy surveying something that are less expensive to make. You just have to times the number of houses by maybe instead of 50 flats now, you will do 800, I guess I'll call it upcoming opportunities, because I don't know what you will call those type of houses. Yeah, but you would like to say something.
Can I quickly, let me just quickly say, okay, let me just quickly say this. It's unfortunate that I'm the one taking the bombshell that the gentleman just dropped. But fine, I will just, I will touch on two things. The first one, meaning touching on the lands, and people buying land and then people not selling their lands and all of that. You know, there are two kinds of people with integrity and people who are not with in every kind of business. People who are bringing drugs into the country at times, for them to just bring the normal Panadol, they will still go and bring in placebos, bring in chalk. I mean, it's the same importation, but people will just still go back and put chalk in there and bring nothing. So if you don't have integrity, whatever industry you find yourself, you still display your true self. So we have that issue with. But another issue linked to that is also that there's that, like I said, there's a need for government intervention in some areas. Because at times you are dealing with natives that are not educated. You are dealing with at times you even go into land issues and then you make honest mistakes as a developer that you did not even plan to make. You get in there, you have a meeting with them, you do your search, you take document to Alausa, they check everything out. There are times, we have an issue now, it's not even in court, but we are having discussions. We bought the land somewhere in Bolongbelu. We sat with them from an individual, from one man, gentleman, fantastic gentleman. We sat down, we discussed, we checked everything. Took the CFO to allow us to check, good. Survey, check, good, everything good. Today we have an issue on the land. The only saving grace is that we've not sold that land to anybody. But if we had sold that land to anyone, it would have been an honest mistake because we didn't plan to do that. But the beauty of it is that, of course, we are always very open. If we have any issue like that, we tell our client immediately, we either move it elsewhere or we give you your money back in full, most of the time. But the government knows what to do in this regard. All of these things that we are doing can pretty much be automated. But at times, you see that, I don't know, it's like, or at times you go into areas that maybe the lands have not been, maybe some of the documents have not been perfected, you are buying them to perfect the document, and then you give them your contract of sale to sign, you bring in all of the family, and the family will deliberately leave 2-3 people behind, not to show up on that day, even after all your search. At the moment, I didn't say earlier, we're one of the biggest landlords in Ekpe. We have over 4,117 plots as of today. In one of the communities we are building them a clinic now as part of our CSR. In that community, one of our land is now having issue because the family went to sell 20 acres at the back of our 50 acres. Just went to sell it. Some of the land that we've allocated to people just went there, sold it to another person. Guess what is? They sold it to someone who happens to know me, who happens to be a friend of mine. He has also allocated it to another set of people. So what happened? I just told them I don't even have any issue because I'm the first to buy the land. I bought the land over 2 years ago. But what happened? My friend came to my office almost prostrating and begging me, hey, please, can you leave the 20 acres for me? What can we do? How can we adjust it? You understand me? But if the government has intervened or done certain things right, we probably will not even be facing that. If you have a registry that carries all the names of everyone who should sign on a particular land, not just the survey. Who are the families? Who are the natives? Where is the root title? The root title also should be with the government. At times, getting a root title, we have to go to the family to get the root titles. Some families will even keep 2-3 people behind to come and fight with you after 6 months so that they can get more money from you. You've bought the land, maybe you bought the land, you paid them maybe 400 million naira. Maybe you are paying them, and then you pay 250. A new set of people will just get up and say, I'm the cousin of the mother of the sister that did not sign. My father is dead, I should have signed, but it's not there. Where's my signature? And then you start a whole new case. So all of those things, I think if the government can intervene, all of these things can be solved. There are ways that we can use for those who understand technology. I think geo mapping, geosystem, geoprocesses to solve all of these things. People can pretty much sit down and then people should be able to sit down and see everything concerning the land. Nobody should even be coming to the developer to say, is the land good, is the land? You should be able to put something on your system, buy your recharge card, load up and see what the land is, the history of the land, who first bought it, who first went there, who is buying it, who owns it now. But they know that if they do that, you won't come to Alaska to come and do a document confirmation. The QS man will not go, the legal man will not go there, and then they won't get the things I can say on camera. So they leave these things this way. Secondly, touching about what the gentleman also said about housing. Truth is that a lot of us have good heart. But the truth is, sustainability is another thing you have to think about when developing. You also don't want to build a house for people that will crash on their head. Because the kind of economy we have right now, it is not visible to build any affordable home. There's no, I'm just going to put it the way it is. We can't. With cement at this price, if anybody build you anything, my brother, don't stay inside though. It's going to come crashing. In every sane society that the government knows what they should be doing, the government should be backing their developers with smart ideas. The government should be backing developers to build affordable homes. Even the ones the government are building are not even affordable. Have you noticed that some of the houses that they are building, nobody's even living there? All those houses they have in different places that they are launching, they are opening, nobody can buy because some of those flats are already selling for 40-something million. Is it depending on any 40,000 naira that will buy a 40-something million naira house? No. So if the government itself is not even building affordable home, how can myself, build affordable homes for you? Except we now come together as maybe if we discuss with a Chinese company and get funding and then they say, okay, we can build and then we can, I don't know. And then our mortgage system is in shambles. It's in shambles. It's in shambles. The bank don't give loans to us any longer. I don't know for developers. We do have developers in the house, construction people. The banks, I don't know. It's like we are lepers. I don't want to mention banks because of the camera, because there's one bank that we are at the moment having some real issues. I mean, we've been doing so well with you guys for over 2 years plus. You can see our whatever, you can see the health of our account, and then we are asking you to give us a paltry 200, 300 million naira, and you'll be asking me to go and bring my grandmother's left breast. How? So nobody, and then when you start the relationship with these people, it's with joy. They tell you that, hey, whenever it is you need something, we are here for you, we are this, we are that. They tell you all of these lies. So how do you deal and marry that? So that's why I said earlier that it's time for all of us to come to the table. The whole value chain, the thought leaders, the people, we need to come together, have discussions, and let's find the true way forward and the real solutions so that we can get out of this mess. Not that people don't want to build. We want to build. I want to build. Like I told you now, everywhere we go to and we have above 100 acres, we do something. We give back to the community. Like the project we are doing, the clinic project we are doing is almost a 38 million naira project, free of charge to the community for mother and child. So you know that I want to do, but I won't suddenly enter Jegmole and start building. Where's the money going to come from? Or I won't suddenly enter Jakonde and start building. Because I also want my business to be profitable, and you also are thinking of sustainability as well, because you don't want to build those projects to a point and stop. So I think with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not to confuse. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. No. I just need to. Yes, I just need to. So sorry, not to take much of your time, but also to try and add to what you've said, so that he can actually understand more better about the construction industry. I'd like to appreciate you first and foremost and what your company you are doing. I follow you on Instagram, and I know a lot of development that you do all around the country. But also to buttress, just to add to what he said earlier, let's not look, I'm taking a different perspective in the sense that the construction industry and the real estate market is very big enough to solve our unemployment crisis in Nigeria. A lot of people don't know that. And that is why if government could actually invest more in that sector, the unemployment rate we have in this country would drastically come down. One thing I need you to notice that for a housing construction project that is ongoing, count the number of artisans. Like you said the other time, an average artisan earns between 5,000 to 8,000 naira per day. In a month, you know what it is. I don't know if you get my point. And talking about, like in my own profession, sometimes ago we used to organize job fair, just a way to solve the unemployment challenges in our country. But after the first and second edition of the job fair, where we invite construction industry, real estate company to employ young conservators who also add to what they do, add value to them, I discovered that we need to do more than job fair. We had to venture into what we call entrepreneurship summit, which is, rather than you trying to look for a job, you could also add value to the chain. Like for example, you can be a conservator. If you decide to be marketing, to sell granite, sell reinforcement, it's a huge, it's a business venture that could lift people out of poverty. So let's not look at the real estate market as if they are constructing what people cannot afford. Let's look at it the other way around, as a way to solve unemployment challenges in our country. Let's look at it as a way whereby young graduates who has nothing to do, rather than roaming about the streets, you could learn a trade. Doors, windows, there are different components in any construction that you are doing that can actually create a business opportunity for the young people, even though what they will say is they need funding as well, which I think government also needs to come into play. Let me just leave it at that. But I actually have a question for you. Talking about homegrown solution. I know so many of us were much more aware of HDMI, which is a project of the federal, an initiative of the federal government. They call it Highway Development and Management Initiative. You know, a situation whereby private investors will be given tax rebate for them to construct. One of the successful projects that Dangote did was at Lagos, Apapa Oshodi Expressway. So my question to you is, I know you have an idea of the initiative. How best do you think that something of similar nature can be deployed into the real estate market to solve some of the challenges?
I would like to ask my uncle to answer this question. Yes, I think he has, please. Yeah, please. Yeah. But before he answers, let me quickly add to what the gentleman also said. Not beyond artisans. There's a whole new there's a whole new industry rising that I think maybe the government has not really fully captured because we are not people of data. There's some set of people they call realtors. You know? See, if you know how many people that sector has practically taken out of poverty, you will be amazed. I've seen people walk into my office, single mother, just chased out by one irresponsible man, 2 kids, no place to stay, no place to live, and then they just have conversations, okay, can you do this, can you sell, can you whatever, and 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, they are well off, they are doing well, they are stable. So just beyond artisans, we have a lot of ways that you can add value to the chain, a lot of ways, you know. And even another way to also add value is also through artisan education. Because we have a lot of, like somebody said earlier, we have a lot of unskilled labor, we have a lot of people who are just doing it. But the question is who is training them because they don't know. And then that forms a large portion of the populace. We have a lot of people there who don't even know. All they just went to Baba and Mofo one day to just learn how to make block, and then they spend maybe a week or 2 there on your side making blocks. If there's someone who can deploy time and money behind educating them, I can assure you that people are waiting and people are willing to pay you. So I think I'll let my uncle answer the question the gentleman asked. Can I get up now? Yes, please. You guys are Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, so please, your answer, and then we can conclude for the next section to come in.
All right. The initiative, as laudable as it is, I think has, in my own opinion, it has its gaps because there's no transparency. So government says, yes, you can use your taxes to build roads. How much is this tax? How much are you really converting, to build this road? So it just creates, a lot of uncertainties, and I believe unquestionable things can happen within that space. Now, if we extend this to the real estate space, it becomes, how do you regulate it? Yeah, I'm supposed to pay this much tax, and I tell you, oh, don't worry, I'm going to build some affordable, substandard homes without, in 2 years, it'll just fall apart. How do you regulate it? So that becomes a big problem. I think that initiative, as laudable as it is government, in my own opinion, shying away from their own primary responsibility, right? What you should do it. Taxes are meant to be paid. If you want to build roads, get the professionals to do them. Dangote's business is not road construction, right? So it's not something, in my own opinion, that I want to encourage, but if it must be done, then it has to be more transparent,
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. This has been a wonderful experience thus far. Please, I would like to appeal to us. We'll be having little entertainment now, but after this, please, we have some interview session outside the hall. Please don't be too in a hurry to go, because the interview session is very, very important. So to take us further in this glorious event is Oiza and Mei for their own performance. Please, let's give them a round of applause as they make their way to the podium. We can do better, please. A round of applause for them. Let us encourage them. Thank you.
And hope to own homes. For anybody that wants to dash me a house, please, that would be very nice.
So we're going to be singing a couple of our original songs for you. You might not have heard them, but anything from the end of this year will soon blow.
So catch us now.
So catch us before we make it. Not that we'll pull an Ashake now and then tomorrow.
Our ticket to be 70K. That's what I'm saying.
We're just saying catch us now is free. It's just what it is.
All right.
Okay. There we go.
You want to do the... So we have a sound check song that we do while we sound check, so we're going to do that. Are we good?
Is it too low for you? It's fine.
It's too high. It's okay. Don't change the key. If I stand here, can you hear? Is it good over here? Can you hear me now? Hello, cameraman. Are we good? Are we great? Sound check.
I know it sounds weird, but it is the truth. We were late for sound check.
You know, I cannot hold that note as long as you don't let something like that. Maybe you should try again. Do a little slower, probably.
Can you hear the guitar? Can you hear the guitar? I think we're good. We were late for sound check. Yeah, I think we should try. Thank you very much. Just do what we. Remember how to just yeah. We did a couple of claps. 1, 2, 3, clap, clap. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have been the happiest girl alive since 95 or 98. Can't seem to get my fingers straight. Better than 19 of the year, standing outside heaven's gate. Still I wonder why I cry. I see myself. I can see whatever is right with me. I always see what everybody wants me to see. Hide behind the shadow behind the stupid man making it count. Still I wonder why I don't see myself. I 1, 2, 3. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. They try to hold me down. They try to hold me down. They try to steal my crown. They try to steal my crown. What's lost but now I'm found. This love but now I'm found. It's here to turn around. 1, 2, 3. It's rushing me. Ooh. I'm ready to you. 1, 2, 3. The shot on the place. Ooh, I tried one last time. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause for them. Thank you very much. Oiza and Mei, you're not the only one that has coconut head. I also don't have my NIN. Please let's give them a round of applause one more time. We have one more person to make us laugh or to perform this afternoon, and no other person than SD, and is going to be singing to us Transaction Successful. Sir, please, what does that mean? Are you sharing money? Okay.
What about the inspiration? Good afternoon, everyone. Transactions every day. People do businesses every day. Everybody sells, everybody buys, and somebody made that song that you can actually use like to post something positive, like to take negativity out of your mind and boost your sales. So I decided like, okay, everybody loves transaction successful. So let me just sit down and write a song that has to do with transaction successful. Thank you very much. So please play the song. It's my passion. Everything I sell must favor me. Everything I buy must favor me. Buy. blessed. Every transaction successful. I prophesy, this one will be life. I prophesy, it's my life, oh. This one will be life. I prophesy, oh. This one will be life. Listen, your house will never run dry, oh. I prophesy, oh. This one will be life. I prophesy, it's your life, oh. This one will be life, oh. I prophesy, oh. This one will be life. Oh, your house will never run dry, oh. Your going out is blessed. My coming in is blessed. Everything I do is blessed. Oh, blessed. Oh. My career is blessed. My career is blessed. Everything I touch is blessed. Oh, yeah. Every year of my life is blessed. Every single month of my life is blessed. Oh. Every week of my life is blessed. Every single day of my life is blessed. Oh. Every hour of my life is blessed. Every minute of my life is blessed. Oh. Every second of my life is blessed. Every moment of my life is blessed. Oh. Every
I hope we've all gotten a lot. Yeah, because it says transaction successful. So at this point, we've come to the end of the event, and it's my pleasure to invite on stage Nuno to come and give us the vote of thanks. Please, let's give her a round of applause.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We hope you had a very pleasant and insightful event. Once thank you for coming to the first edition of the Real Estate Stakeholder Conference, and we hope to see you for the other editions by God's grace. And we wish you a safe journey back home or to your work wherever you're going to. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
And God bless you all. I remain your amiable host, Praise Sanusi, otherwise known as MC Pass. I host corporate events like this. Of course, I host social events, weddings, birthdays, and all of that. Thank you. See you some other time. At the hall. It won't take much of your time, please. I know we are all traveling back to our various destinations. Thank you for coming, sir.
You people going outside. They are going now. What's them? Okay. Want to sing? Want to sing?